All right, we are reconvening to open session at 6:35 p.m. Western Hills Water District meeting of the Board of Directors, Wednesday, January 12th, 2022, 6:35 p.m. There are no reportable actions to be taken or discussed from closed session. Before we move forward, I just want to let everybody know who's listening online. There are a few people at the firehouse. We are not having the firehouse open to the public due to COVID. We've had kind of an outbreak. We have two of our workers that have gotten COVID. I've had COVID since the 10th, and I actually have a fever right now, and I'm going to do my best to get through this meeting. I've been very sick. I've been isolated at home, but due to just the amount, we've had some HOA directors have COVID, and there's just a lot going on up here with COVID that we did not feel it's safe or in the public's interest to have a bunch of people in a building with all the doors shut due to the temperature. So there is a camera that's rolling on the counting of the challenges. There are 3 people counting the challenges. There is Ron Demers, who is our operations manager, Ashley Wilkins, who is our front office manager, and then the board secretary, Krista. And so they're going through meticulously at every single vote, and they will do their best as this process moves forward. David, can you address the issue of, I believe we had some screaming people out in front of the fire station stating that they had to be a let-in. Can you just express to the folks what the law says regarding this? You're muted. Oh, Krista, can you unmute David?
There we go. Yeah, the contention that the public has to be provided access to watch the protest is, I don't know where that's coming from. We strictly did this as an accommodation during these COVID times, so we could be as transparent as possible, but while at the same time balancing public health protection. So I don't know why they're reacting. It is what it is, and it's unfortunate though.
Okay, so we have a camera rolling, so all of you can keep an eye on that. When we recess them to go to work counting the ballots here in a few moments, that camera will continue to roll, so you guys can keep an eye on that if you so desire as we move through the meeting. So in saying all of that, we're on point 5 of our agenda, and all matters listed here under shall be acted upon by a single vote of the board. There will be no individual discussion of these items unless a member of the board or the public so requests, in which event the matter shall be removed from the consent calendar and considered as a separate agenda item. So point A, B, and C, the approval of the November and December 2021 checks and warrants, the approval of the minutes for regular meeting November 10th, 2021, the approval of resolution number 2022-01, resolution of the Western Hills Water District making findings in accordance with AB 361 and Government Code Section 54953E, authorizing remote meetings. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, aye. All right, we're going to move to action items. So the submitting of the protests ended at 6:30 p.m. We did receive quite a few, and so they're going to be going into counting those momentarily. I call the public hearing on the proposed rate increase for district water services open. It's for the 218 public hearing. And the time of filing written protests is now officially closed. I am directing the secretary of the board, along with Ron and Ashley, to begin counting and validating the written protests that have been received. And we will recess the meeting to count and validate those written protests that were received. As we recess that public meeting, can we turn off the sounds?
It's somebody's speakers are a little too high and it's causing some feedback. So if you've got your speakers on high, just turn them down a bit.
So we will just recess the public hearing for the 218 challenge to allow them to count. But we as a board are going to continue to move through the line items for our board meeting while they are counting. So I recess. So
We
motion.
need Ron here, but he's at the door, and we need to close that door.
Motion to recess that portion of the meeting. Do I have a second?
Hold on. Zechariah said something about Ron being.
Yeah, we need Ron, but
being
he's at the door. He's manning the door at the moment. If he leaves, we're gonna have a herd of cattle coming in this door.
Well,
Can't lock the door?
security should be there, and that's okay. We need to lock the door. Is that door lockable?
Wait, I can't hear you because the door's open. I can't even hear what you're saying. Give me a moment here.
We need to lock the door.
We can't. I mean, I'm gonna be shutting people's arms in the door, so I tried to shut it. Where's security?
I'm calling them again.
You know, this is absolutely ridiculous what's happening right now down there.
This is no way for.
Yeah, I liken them to
Hey,
cattle
this
because
is
they're out of
Matt-
control. But
This is Matthew Manning, president of the Western Hills.
You know, if they don't cease, we're calling the sheriff.
You guys to be at the firehouse, and immediately we have a similar problem with people trying to reach the door and they're screaming and calling. Okay, we need to get there quickly, please. As quickly as humanly possible. Okay. Okay, cool, thank you.
I kind of want to name names right now.
Okay, I've been told that security should be arriving any moment. And if you can just direct Ron that if security needs to, they can call the sheriff.
So at the current moment, there's an open motion to recess to recess.
Yes. So recess so they can begin to count the votes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Right. So we are going to continue though to have the meeting board directors. And we are just going to continue to have a meet. Hold on one second, guys. Yes.
How's it going, Zechariah?
Not good, Chris.
Uh,
I'm gonna guard my tongue.
I hear you. Me too. Me too. We know who's ringleading at the door.
Oh, they're literally at the door.
David, what is the address of the fire station off the top of your head? Yes, and we're holding a board meeting.
Is it the issue that they want one or two people to come in and watch the count just to
No,
make sure that
the
it's
issue
being
is that
done right?
Rhonda wants to come in the door and watch the count.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Her
if
and
it was
her
a
clan.
if it was a resident or two, I could understand, but she's not a resident, so
That's right.
Well, it shouldn't make a difference.
Dave, what's the address?
It's 20899 Grapevine Drive.
20899 Grapevine Drive in Diablo Grande. Zechariah, how many people approximately are outside being unruly?
He's not at his
About
computer.
10 or so.
10 to 15.
50.
They want in.
Wow. Really?
So if it's going to be an issue, we should probably just continue this part of the hearing to a later date so we can cool things down and we can continue doing the business of the board on the other remaining items. If it's going to get out of hand, there's no
There's no
basis.
way these people are going to come in there and threaten these people that are working on this. I'm already livid about this. So if the sheriff's got to come up here and we got to wait, then so fucking be it.
My concern is I don't want to put anybody in jeopardy one way or the
and
other.
we want to keep people safe. I agree with David.
Well, I agree too, but these people aren't going to leave just because we said table it till next meeting. They're coming in the door unless someone stops them. Did you hear that one person?
Yeah, unfortunately I did.
Yeah. And what's with the helicopters lately? My God.
All right, Board Secretary Krista, can you hear me?
Yes.
The sheriff will be contacting you. Please answer the phone when they call.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so we are, David, if people are going to be unruly like this, do we just make a motion to have this move to next the 24th, which we've discussed?
Yeah, I mean, if you can't conduct the business of the board because the public is is going to act shamefully, then yeah, I mean, the board could vote to continue this portion of the public hearing to a date certain. We can canvass and count the protests and then report out. It's really up to the board. But if we do so, we need to make sure that we get the folks out of there and get them out safely. Maybe they need to wait for the sheriff so they can be escorted out.
Krista, would you feel more comfortable that way? Or has it kind of quieted down a little bit?
It has not quieted down. Rhonda is screaming.
Yeah, I hear her.
Angels Crossing.
It's the voice of Rhonda Lucas you're hearing.
Okay, So guys, I'm going to make a motion. Basically, just to explain what we were going to do, we were going to have Krista, Ron, and Ashley count the votes till about 10 o'clock, 9:30, something like that. If they got them done, great. If not, we were going to make a motion to further that meeting until the 26th, and that would give Ron, Ashley, and Krista time to count the votes, and then we would come back and we would present to the community the response. So we were going to give them time to count it, but I'm not going to put my wife and others in dangerous situation. And we can't have Ron helping count, which we need him to do if he's guarding the door from a stampede. So I'm making a motion for the public hearing of the 218 challenge and counting to continue until the 26th at 6 p.m. in the evening. And do I have a second for that?
All right, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Disappointing.
Linda,
We
what-
get Julie.
Julie, Linda, do we have an aye or nay?
So there are enough protests there that we could not finish it tonight anyway? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, there's a lot. There are a lot of challenges.
Okay. Because that's what I was wondering, if under normal circumstances, would we be able to do this tonight? But if we are not going to be
I
able,
don't believe
if we're
we
not
will
going to
be
be able to,
Krista, that's a good question for Krista. Krista, are you there?
Yes,
Do you think you can have any type of account completed this evening by 10
No.
o'clock?
I do not believe I will be able to finish by 10 o'clock.
So as it currently is, there's three open votes to continue the hearing. Are there two more, or what are the remaining two votes?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes, Julie.
Okay, okay. I'm not understanding what's going on. Who's out? How many people are down there outside?
10 to 15 people screaming and yelling, and they're preventing Ron from even counting the votes because he's guarding the door,
And it's Rhonda.
What?
led by Rhonda.
Yeah,
And just for
I don't
everyone's
know.
clarification,
I don't
that's
know why.
Angels Crossing.
What's that? I'm sorry.
That's Angels Crossing's Rhonda.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have
I don't
three
know.
to pass the vote, but I'd really like to hear Linda and Julie. Are you yays or nays to continue this until
Well,
the 26th?
I'm just a little concerned if we don't let them continue to count, that just, can they give them chairs to come sit on by the door
No.
or?
Not with the COVID issue the way it is right now. We have concerns. My wife is autoimmune. She is a problem. She does not want people around. She's locked herself away for 10 days while I've been fighting off this COVID stuff. She's not going to put herself in this situation, and I'm not going to let her.
Not only that, but they're unruly and they should not be
Yeah.
admitted anyhow.
The
Even if it was an open meeting.
the whole point
We're
of
talking
this
about the safety here
Okay,
of
point of
four
this-
of our fellow people here, you know?
was to go above and beyond to offer some transparency, because we've been conducting everything via Zoom. We wanted to make sure that the public could at least see, have a place to drop off the ballots and see what was transpiring. And that's completely blown up at this point.
I
So-
understand. It just, they can't see what's transpiring. That could be why people
Well,
might be
it may
upset.
be, but
So-
Julie, but there's no requirement that the counting of the protest happens in public.
But
That's-
but we do have a camera. If everybody looks, there's a camera that's focused on those tables, and they
This
can
this
be
isn't,
watching
we're not,
it.
we're not talking about the vote. I mean, just consider, like, if you're doing a Prop 218 in the city of Modesto, do you think that they sit there and count for all 250,000 residents in one night in front of everybody? That's not how this,
Yeah.
that's not how this process works. And they're trying to jam that, and for whatever their purposes are, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Yeah, that was my question too, was if there were enough protests that we would not be able to finish them this evening anyway, then I don't see a problem with continuing this until, so I vote yay as well.
And Julie, are you a yay or nay?
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Okay.
If they're, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to continue the counting until the 26th, when we'll return at 6 p.m. So now, Zechariah, we can turn everything off there, and then we need you guys to be safe getting out of there.
I say do not turn it off till the sheriff gets there.
Yeah, so if you guys just want to hang out there and be on, I mean, obviously you have to be on the board meeting anyway, but we're gonna let, I mean, you guys can't leave the door though, because they'll try to come in. So I don't know how, I mean, I guess Ron can just keep an eye on the door since he's not going to be counting. We're not going to count anymore this evening.
All
We're
right.
going to postpone the counting.
Okay.
Okay, so folks who are watching via Zoom, I apologize. I've noticed a few of you have been IMing me. I cannot respond to your IMing at this time, but we're working on trying to get the situation at the fire station under control. Okay, so we are now moving to item C on our agenda, and that is the consideration and approval of resolution number 2022-03, resolution of the Western Hills Water District, approval of expenditures of approximately $121,802 of Diablo Grande Community Facility District Number 1 Melrose bond refinance proceeds for the payment of immediate water district expenses. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Then
Aye.
moving on to item D, consideration and approval of resolution number 2022-04, resolution of the Western Hills Water District approval of expenditure of approximately $10,547.50 for Goodwin Consulting of Diablo Grande Community Facility District Number 1 Melrose bond refinance proceeds. Do I have a second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I think we lost you. Matt. There you go.
I'm back on item E, consideration and approval and approval of resolution number 2022-05, resolution of the Western Hills Water District, approval of expenditures of approximately $53,786.06 for Burke, Williams, and Sorensen of Diablo Grande Community Facility District Number 1 Melrose bond refinance proceeds. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Matt, do you
Yes.
think it would be of any benefit to expand upon what these are?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you think we should expand upon what these are for anyone?
Sure. We could do that really quick. Goodwin Consultants is our bond firm. Remember, we're in foreclosures right now on the property, so a lot of these expenses have to do with the foreclosures. Burke, Williams, and Sorensen are attorneys that we use for the foreclosures. All right, line item F, consideration and approval of resolution number 2022.06, resolution of the WHWD approval of expenditures of approximately $7,433.71 for Atlas Copaco of Diablo Grande Facility 1 bond refinance proceeds for a new oil injected air compressor. Since Ron is manning the doors, I can tell you that we've been paying a constant reoccurring fee repairing the old air compressor. And it's to the point now where the fees to repair are just so astronomical, it's cheaper to actually buy a new air compressor. So do I have a second for that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, in point G, this one's a little more complicated, guys. This is another one, another bill that never got paid under Jerry's tenure. And the company called us up wanting collections for it. So we just found out about it. Ron just found out about it. It's consideration and approval of resolution number 2022-7. Resolution from the Western Hills Water District, approval of expenditure of approximately $13,820.92 to Arnando Construction of Diablo Grande Community Facility District Number 1, Mellow, Roost bond refinance proceeds for Diablo Grande Parkway repairs. Again, these
I'd
were
like
done.
I'd
Go
like
ahead.
to ask that we table that one. I have a lot of questions on that one.
We all do, and that's what we wanted. We're not going to table it. We need to discuss it, and then we can table it. But I do want us to all discuss this. I have a big problem with it too, Linda.
Yeah.
But this company did do the work. It has been verified that they did do the work. Jerry hired them. There was no board approval for the work that was done. But now they're wanting paid. So I'm open to any and all suggestions, but it is a legitimate purchase.
Wow, it's
Okay,
from
I'm
July
not- I'm-
2019.
I'm not disputing that the work was done.
Yep.
I am questioning quite a bit of maybe even the cost,
Mhm.
because one of the documents says that they came back, and I don't know anything about this, so I'm asking. I'm not accusing or anything like that.
Right.
But one of the documents says that they, in fact, it was the last day, which I believe was the 28th. They came back to repair the leak, and that the leak was caused because when they backfilled, they knocked the couplers loose. Don't they warranty their work? Isn't that part of the warranty? I mean, if they backfilled it and they broke the coupler that they just installed, why are we paying for that day? So those are the kind of questions that I have to ask.
Did we do the backfill? Did Jerry do the backfill, or did they?
That's what I don't know. But the backhoe was rented by them, so I can only assume they did.
They did it.
But those are the kind of questions we need to ask. Plus, some of
agree.
the invoices are dated September. This was work done in July.
Right.
And I think my biggest question is, why are we hearing from them 3 years after the fact? Why didn't they talk? I mean, I've been sitting on the board for almost a year now, and I've never heard anything about this bill.
I never heard about it even before that.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, so I know Ron has a lot of information on this, but again, he's guarding the door. So does
Again, I'm
everybody
not
agree with
disputing.
Linda that we table this?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then,
Again, I'm not disputing. This could be a very legitimate charge. I'm not disputing it. But I
Right.
just have some questions as
Yes, I
to
agree with Linda.
the
We all
amount.
agree. We all agree. I
Yep.
think yes. So Ron could have answered a lot of our questions, and unfortunately he can't. So let's table it until February. And by then he'll be able to answer a lot of questions, and we'll make sure. And Linda, if you could maybe put some questions in an email to Ron as well, that would be
Okay.
great. Everybody can do that for that matter. And so we can get everybody's questions answered before next meeting. Does that sound good?
Yes,
All right,
Yes.
so motion to table,
second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The last item is H. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I promise not to pass out. Item H, consideration and approval to proceed with satellite internet service for the new offices. Zachariah, I'll let you take this and explain to everybody what's going on. Again, Ron could explain from his perspective, but I know you're briefed on it. So if you can explain to the
Sure.
board this.
So basically, the long and short of it is that we're finding that the infrastructure is not really supporting true high-speed internet the way it's set up currently. So we're running into bandwidth issues. We're running into just not having enough, basically. So we're kind of limited in terms of an immediate fix. If we were to try to go through someone like Frontier, basically the upfront cost for the infrastructure would be pretty significant, and it's not something we're able to shoulder at the moment. And honestly, we just need internet immediately. So I looked into different satellite providers. There's really about 3 that are viable solutions for here in this area. I looked at Viasat, I looked at Hughes, I looked at Starlink, which shows to be very promising. Unfortunately, it's kind of still in its early phases. The pre-orders are kind of creating a long lead time to get the actual equipment. I'd like to go with them, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be good for mission critical stuff at this point. So I'm looking at HughesNet, and basically we've got an option right now, 75 gigabytes per month. And unfortunately, it's kind of just the nature of satellite. You really can't get around. Oh, it looks like the sheriff just showed up. Long story short, I suggest that we go use internet. We got 75 gigabytes per month. It's about 25 megabits per second download, 3 upload. I think that's probably going to be good for what we need it for. If we reach that limit, we'll be siphoned down to probably about 1 to 3 megabits a second. But hopefully, from what I'm told, for what we need it for, that probably won't be happening. So it's about $150 a month plus $20 leasing for the equipment. And so that is, I guess, the motion that I would be making and the suggestion that I'd make to the board so we can get some good, solid, reliable internet up there for our offices and everything we need it for.
And,
Did I miss it? Is there a document or a breakdown of all these costs? Zach, I'm
No,
sorry.
I
I
can
think I missed
you.
it.
It's much.
Yeah, no,
simpler.
there isn't one, but I can get that over to you.
Okay, yeah, it'd be a lot easier to approve actually approve a document, I guess, should say, some sort of scope of work.
Steve.
Do you
Steve
want me to just go
Stockmall
ahead and
has
share
his-
the screen real quick?
Steve Stockmall has his hand up, and he probably has something to say about this particular issue.
Yeah.
Steve, if this is about
Yes, he's
anything
a-
other
he's a
than
good
the internet
reference.
idea, put your hand down. But if it has to do with this specific, which I think it does, I'd like to
Yeah.
hear from you. And if we can,
Yeah, absolutely.
because he's an expert in this kind of stuff. Self-made expert, but I still consider him an expert.
Hey, Zechariah, are you looking at the business class service with HughesNet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Krista, can you unmute?
And so
Steve? Oh, there he
Viasat
is.
was another option. They were just a little bit more expensive, and you're basically looking at the same service,
Right.
which is why I kind of lean towards HughesNet.
Fairly certain they use the same satellites.
Yeah. So
All right,
Steve,
Steve,
it looks like you're on.
You're up,
Yes,
Steve.
I look to be unmuted now, and thank you for noticing that I popped that hand up as soon as this topic came available. So Zechariah, my question is around, is this for just internet access for the office purposes, or is this beyond that?
No, it's pretty much just for our offices up there, but unfortunately, it's also our phones are also going to be relying on it. So we need the necessary bandwidth to be able to do the voice over IP and all that kind of stuff. So it needs to be robust enough to handle that.
That might be an issue.
Yeah, voice over IP on satellite, I don't feel that that's going to probably do you what you need to do.
So I raised that concern. I raised that specific concern with the rep that I was working with. And he
Okay,
gave me a basic breakdown of what that looks like. So in a 50 gigabyte plan, that's 720 hours of audio or VoIP. So that's giving us a whole lot of, I can't imagine 720 hours of talk time.
Zechariah, I don't think it's about volume. It's about latency with satellite, which has a 600 to 800 millisecond latency. And I don't know how that
Correct.
plays with phone calls.
I mean, if it's business grade service, maybe that's the answer there, Chris. I'm
No, there's no getting around the fact that the satellites are hundreds of miles up in the sky.
Yeah,
that's correct. And Starlink satellites are 60 times closer to the Earth than the satellites are from HughesNet. Now, I don't know how that translates to, miles or feet or whatever you want to call it, but
So I'm with you. Honestly, Steve, I really, really want to go with Starlink. We can't take a gamble, unfortunately, because they don't provide any phone number prior to being a customer. So you have to literally sign up and pay money before you're even, and even that is questionable. A lot of people say, and we can't wait 6 months to receive, on a wing and a prayer, hoping to receive the hardware we need. But
With
I'm
all
with
of
you.
the-
I would love to go with them.
Yeah, I guess really my question kind of circled around with all of the work that was done at the beginning of last year with the FCC complaints to Frontier as a community as a whole, if you will. Has the service not been working up at the offices as would be expected? I guess
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, we're
Steve,
basically on
you-
what,
hold on.
Well, and I think we need to make sure that everybody realizes that these are offices at the treatment plant,
correct.
Yes.
not
Correct.
where the office used to be.
Correct.
I understand that.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's copper wire up there, we found out, and it's not fiber optic.
It's okay. So it's
And-
a
and-
similar situation like you had at the guard shack.
Yes, yes.
DSL.
And
Yes.
some of these issues you've seen me tackling on next door have kind of had a little bit to do with some of these problems that have been manifesting since we moved the office up there. It's just the internet is horrible and our phones are working through that. And as we get rid of Frontier and we go to this, the costs will sort of balance themselves out. It'll sort of work itself out. We just have to have the upfront cost to get the program started.
I
So
have a
the
suggestion.
benefits of, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I
Yeah,
have
no,
a
I didn't mean
question,
to
too.
interrupt you either, but look, the phone operation of actual voice over copper, that should still be able to operate correctly unless there's a broken line or a panel that needs to be replaced or some other nonsense, right, that Frontier has to deal with. For internet, for non-phone call type activity, satellite will suffice even with the latency issues. We know that for a fact. My mom has lived that life for 20 years. The voice stuff, though, if you're making a phone call and you're an angry customer calling up the Western Hills Water District and you're getting trampled on by 1 and 2 second delays, because effectively the round trip is at least 1 second, I could see that being a problem. And even for Ashley, for just trying to deal with
Well,
that.
I guess maybe, is Ashley still here?
I don't
See,
think so.
I'm not
and-
fully
and
apprised on
what
the ins and outs.
my
I'm not sure if,
Hang on, Linda.
My
Let
question is
Zechariah-
kind of with yours.
hang on,
Yeah.
hang on. Yeah, but let Zechariah.
yeah,
finish.
I'm not sure if they were experiencing issues with the phone as is, because hey, I'm all for that. If we can keep the phone on the copper and then just
Right.
use the satellite for all the internet, as you said, quote unquote, internet things, that would, obviously solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, that might be ideal.
Let's find out.
Is
Hold on.
Ron there?
Ron is at the door. I'm gonna yell at him real quick.
All right, Linda, go.
No,
Sorry.
talk to him
Well,
nicely.
And I'm going to defer to Steve and Chris, you and Zach. But my question is, my daughter lived in the country and had HughesNet. And when the schools closed down and they had to do virtual learning, it was impossible
It
to
doesn't
do
work.
a Zoom. It was impossible to do a Zoom class.
Yeah, no, it's
So,
not going to be for that.
if
This is for web
HughesNet
browsing
can't-
and emails.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Cannot be
they're
for
not going
anything
to need that bandwidth to be able to
There,
process and,
so when I
you know,
was
because she scans in checks and sends them to the bank and, all that kind of stuff. So
That will still
I'm
work
just-
fine. It's not
Okay.
video.
It's
Video
not
and
that's what I'm
audio
saying.
is-
I'm deferring to you guys because
Yeah.
I'm tech dummy here.
Okay,
So,
video
I'm
and
back and
audio
I'm
are
bearing good
extremely
news.
intense, and that takes up all your bandwidth, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay, so the good news is that the phones are working fine. I just conferred with Ron.
Good.
So we can indeed just use the satellite for the pure internet type stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just email and web browsing, as Chris mentioned, then there should be no issue there. If there's any extremely data intensive tasks up in, including any other type of audio, video,
Right.
an issue, but if it's just basic internet service, you should be able to see the same realization of improvement that you would see at the guard shack. So,
Beautiful.
and then
Awesome.
yes, once Starlink is more readily available, I do know my son-in-law has it in Ripon. he's had it now for about a month. We're getting approximately 160 megabit per second down and about 30 megabit per second up as a.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, basically.
Yeah.
And there's no data caps either, which is a wonderful thing.
And
Steve,
it's
And
$100
now,
a month.
Steve, now you know I've been asking you so many questions about
Mhm.
satellite. Now it makes sense, right?
Steve,
But,
is your brother's latency like 30 milliseconds?
They're touting latencies similar to other internet technologies. Maybe not quite as good, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Nowhere near like latency issues on satellite like HughesNet.
Right. Cool. All right, good productive discussion, guys.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
All right, so do we have approval to at least move forward, because they really need the internet up there for doing bills and stuff and getting bills submitted to folks, and they're really having a hard time. Can we get a second on that motion?
Yeah, just to clarify too, there's no installation costs, right, Zachariah? It all comes with.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got a
if
couple
we
different
could
options.
If we could include the document with these minutes and stuff, because we're just kind of doing a carte blanche approval here, and that's really not the way to do this. If we had some sort of bid or scope of work or something to go along with approving this, about,
Do you
something
want me
like that.
to, yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to share my screen so you guys can see what was sent to me
Please do.
from HughesNet?
Yeah.
Yes, Zachariah. let's
Okay.
do that.
Okay. Let's see if I. Um, okay, so can you guys see this?
Yep, got it.
Okay, cool. So we can see it's $149 a month for the business 75. The lease setup fee is 99. The equipment lease per month is 19.99. They give us an immediate promo credit back at 99. Promo credit for 6 months. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but
That's
that
just a
will-
discount to make it 129 for 6 months.
Beautiful. Instant discount of $50. We're looking at $199.98 out the door. There's also an option to do instead of leasing the equipment, to purchase the equipment, but that's going to be $599 up front. So it actually makes sense. I spoke to an individual. He says when you're leasing the equipment, they're about to come up with some new stuff, Gen 5 of their HughesNet. It's not quite out yet, I guess is what he's saying. So we can basically immediately upgrade to that
Right.
if we're leasing the equipment.
And
So
this
to me,
is
at least makes sense.
Sorry, Zach, is this a 2-year term or what?
Yeah, 2-year term.
Yep.
Yeah. $36 for every month. If we decide to opt out early, it's a $36 per month through the end of the contract.
Well, geez, that's actually kind of cheap.
Yeah, it's actually not horrible, right? I was actually surprised about that.
Think about your cell phone cancellation costs.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they'd have a chance to gouge you there, but they don't.
Huh.
$3 per extra gigabyte if we go over the limit.
Yeah.
Actually, when we can purchase tokens, they call them tokens basically. So $3 per gigabyte we can
Right.
purchase.
And the tokens are cheaper, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he said $3 per gigabyte, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe those prices.
Sometimes they
change.
run promos because we've had to buy them when all of us end up at my mom's house. We've had to buy extra tokens, and they'll like give you an extra 10 gigs on top of whatever you're buying or something like that. So it lessens the cost.
Yeah.
The sting, really.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about $200. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, but I would say that just in case, supposedly the guy said $50 this day only, instant discount. I would say that we should probably approve a little bit above just in case, just to give us the headroom necessary. And if we don't end up spending it, then, we're fine.
What are you looking at, like 230, 250?
I would say, yeah, maybe 250, even 300 just to be safe. The numbers do fluctuate day to day, supposedly. He said they're pretty steady, but you can never really gamble on that.
Salespeople, dude.
Yeah, exactly. You take it with a grain of salt, right?
You tell him you want $50 off, he'll get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
and so
great
that
work.
he can so that he can get a document to Ashley so we can get this in the budget, that would be awesome.
Yeah, will do. I can forward this
Okay.
over to her. And,
Perfect.
Remember though, as we save on the frontier money, it'll sort of even itself out.
Yeah.
right.
But our auditors would love the document.
Yes, of course. A lot of it doesn't, you don't get the documents until it's paid for. You're dealing online. Okay, so a motion to approve to proceed with the satellite internet service for the Western Hills Water District offices, no more than $300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
And good work, Zechariah.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I know it's takes up a lot of your time.
Krista has her hand up. What's up, Krista? Can she
Sorry
not?
about that. That was I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, what's the status down there?
There's still a lot of people, but I haven't been out there, so I'm not.
Okay.
sure. There's a few. I think there's just a few now.
Are you safe?
We want to get you guys safely out of there too. So I don't know if we need to.
Yeah, I
need
don't
to
really,
finish up.
I haven't been able to, I haven't gone outside, so.
Yeah.
Well, one of the people
Yeah.
that are down
I'm
there is
hearing more
actually,
laughter, so. I
one
think-
one of the people that are
people have
down there
calmed
is
down a little bit.
actually videotaping it, and we can actually see it. They're showing it right here, so.
Oh, Oana?
Good.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay. So we are now at the public comments.
Oh, goody.
Stop, don't make me laugh. Oh my
all
goodness.
right, you'll start coughing.
I thought we
You'll
already
make him
had that time.
All right. Interested persons in the audience or by teleconference are welcome to introduce any topic within the district's jurisdiction. Matters presented under this agenda item may be discussed. No action can be taken by the board at this meeting except as the following: briefly respond to the statements being made or question raised, ask a question for clarification, provide a reference to staff or other resources for factual information, request staff to report back at a subsequent meeting, or a board member or a board itself may take action to direct a staff member to place a matter of business on a future agenda. So with that said, we can take questions. And Ms. Colding has her hand raised. Are we gonna unmute? Is she wanting to ask a question? Awana, are you there?
Sorry, let's see if I can.
I
do
do.
that.
Yeah,
oh, no, she's
somebody's
good.
unmuted me. Hello. Hello. Hi. So I'm just trying to figure out how you guys post that there's a public meeting with an address and yet you don't let people in. And by the way, we are not a herd of cattle. We have not hurt anybody. And Ron is out here hanging out with us, letting us know that we did not, in fact, actually bang on the door and try to get in. But thanks, Matt. So how can you have a meeting that is public
Don't blame it on Matt.
and not let
Oana.
people
We
in?
heard
You
everybody
listed an
yelling.
address, guys. You've never done that. And if you wanted to change it, that's totally fine. But you've got
It's
to
not where
actually
the
change
meeting's
it. You
being
can't.
held, Oana.
So Awana, we will answer your question. Are you done stating your?
Yeah. I'm done for this moment. Go ahead.
Okay, so we will now answer you. David, would you like to answer Awana?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Western Hills wanted to provide a public access to see what was taking place with the protests and a physical place to actually drop them off. The agenda talks about enforcing COVID protocol, and that's how COVID protocol is being enforced, by not allowing everybody to go into what's essentially a closed room. I mean, we're asking for a little patience because we're moving our office. This is the first hybrid Zoom meeting that we've had. And there's just a bunch of yelling as everything going on, which we've now had to continue that portion of the hearing. So that's it.
Okay, anybody else that would like to ask a question?
So I appreciate what you said, David. I get that. But here's the thing: in the the county of Stanislaus, you can go inside of a building with a mask. That's actually a thing. So the square footage of this building is big enough to handle the handful of us that showed up to present all of the signatures of the people that actually voted against this. water increase. So walk me through how you think it's still okay to not allow us into a public meeting that you
I'm
posted
not,
was
I'm not
public.
here to walk anybody through anything. I'm just strictly
Well,
stating that
clearly, hon, I mean,
we have people that are on the scene that are enforcing the COVID protocol. If you obviously disagree with that, and that's fine.
And that's the end of it.
Is there anybody else with a question? Mr. Oliver. Hi, Mike.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Mike.
So my question is, it looks like we're approving about $193,000 in expenditures, which I believe are coming out of the reserve fund. So my first question would be is, what do we have left? Is that public knowledge that can be shared? What do we have left? And what are we talking about in terms of how many months we got left before we run out of funds to fund the water district? Because I have a feeling that many of these people, and I don't know what the vote is at this point. I've only heard rumors, but if in fact this does get voted down and we don't have additional funds coming in, we're going to run out of money pretty quick, I would think. And then my second question to that would be, Matt, specifically to you, what is going on with the negotiations, which we keep hearing that all this positive stuff with Kern County? I've also heard some rumors about something going on with the city of Patterson, and we're at a critical stage right now. Why aren't these deals done yet? Where are we at? That's my question. Those are my two, one comment and one question, or two questions.
Thanks, Mike.
Did you not hear me?
Yeah, he did. And hi, Mike.
What?
Matt, did you catch all that?
I could not hear
All
practically.
right, the
any
first
of-
question was, how much money do we have left in the bank if we can publicly disclose that? And the second question was, where are we at with the negotiations?
Not very much money in the bank. Mark, would you like to make a, I know that you had a report ready to go. We were going to do that in February because there was so much on the agenda with counting. But do you want to make a small statement to help the community understand a little bit about finances?
I can give the financial facts. As far as I know right now, do you want to know the financial facts about the district operating account, or do you want to know the financial facts about the Mellow Roost refinance bond?
You can do both.
Well, that's why we have to transfer $121,000 out of Mellow Roost this month, or I'll have to do it on Friday to pay what vendors we can pay and get them up current that we've been delinquent for the past couple of months. That's one thing. We have to pay Martin Kozla, the foreclosure attorney, Goodwin Consulting, and the other things that came up. Currently, so with that said, the district operating fund is pretty much just zero. And it's just a month-to-month proposition where it's hand to mouth, and we pay employees first and foremost because we're legally obligated to do so. And we're doing the best we can to pay vendors and stall them where we can, and work with them the best we can. So regarding the Mellow Roost refinance bond, right now there's about $900,000 in it. Once I make the transfers on Friday, I estimate it's going to be about $650,000. If you would like me to comment as far as how long that will last us if we don't have this rate increase, I'm happy to do so. Would you like me to say that?
Sure.
I estimate that if we don't have the rate increase or some sort of windfall, I know that we're working on things such as the the properties that we had liens on, we were hoping to get some money from the title insurance company. That was those two properties, lots that were sold up here back in August. I don't know if that's going to actually occur or not. If we get that money for the lien, that will certainly help us. If we don't get it, I think that the Mellow Roost bond that the rate we're going is probably going to be depleted in 6 to 9 months.
And what happens if we deplete that money?
Excuse me?
What happens when we deplete that money?
Then I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to ask David Hobbs legally what happens. You know, does the state come in? Do they take over? You know, that's a question that I don't have the answer for at this point in time. I can just say quite strongly that unless we get an influx of revenue in some way, that we're going to be in a real financial pickle. I estimate probably it can be as early as July, as late as September.
David, would you like to chime in on anything?
No.
Okay, and then the second part of your question of how is the contracts going? I think the contract's going really well. Hopefully we will have something finalized to present to the community within 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe 2 months. Can't guarantee that, but probably somewhere in that realm. We're down to the very end of this negotiation, and a lot of it now has to do with just the legalese and just kind of working out the bugs, and the board is doing a bang up job working through the finality of this. But I'm hoping something early spring.
I'm just curious, is the whole board involved in the negotiations, or we designate certain people to be involved?
Do you hear him better than I do?
He wants to know if the whole board is involved or just certain people.
So right now, Julie, myself, and Mark, along with our attorney and our consultant, are the kind of the team players that are kind of putting everything together and doing the direct work. And then as we get to certain levels, we come to the whole board, and some of that stuff is what's talked about in executive sessions. And we discuss that as a group from the legal side of things. And the board decides, yeah, let's move forward on these kind of things, or hey, let's tweak this or that. So those kind of discussions all happen in executive session. So the whole board's involved in that aspect.
I can confirm that.
Any other question? Sorry, Mike, I couldn't hear you very well. I think it's my audio tonight and my stuffed up ears.
No, his mic is kind of low.
It's a confluence of issues, kind of like the state we find ourselves in.
All right, any other questions? So before we do a motion to an adjourn, just so everybody's clear, no counting continued tonight. It stopped because of the craziness. We will have the results on the 26th, and we will be putting out an agenda tomorrow. We have 24 hours to put out an agenda on that to let you know that we're going to continue over the Prop 218 session until the 26th, and we will have results at that point. All right. Any other questions? Does anybody from the board want to say anything else? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. And motion to adjourn. And our next regular meeting will be February 9th, 2022, but we will have a special meeting for the 218 on the 26th at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Let's get out of that place.